The last bits of sunlight crawled across the uneven walls in Robyn Brown's living room in Flagstaff, Arizona. The film crew was wrapped early. Microphones were packed, production gear loaded, and the producers had left for a meeting. What was shaping up to be an uneventful end to an ordinary day. What nobody was aware of was that a single microphone, clipped onto Cody's shirt, had been left on. And what it captured changed everything. As people bustled around him, Cody slumped against the armrest of the couch, running both hands through his disheveled hair. His half-untucked shirt spoke volumes. He was exhausted, not just physically, but emotionally spent. Across the room, Robyn stood stiffly with arms crossed, her glare razor-sharp. The same intensity that had silenced camera crews now cut through the silence. "You're accusing me again," she said coldly. Cody let out a bitter sigh. "I'm holding everyone accountable." "You mean the show?" she asked. His voice dropped to a whisper. "I mean everything. This house. This family." But what no one knew was that they were being recorded. "Hello, everyone. Welcome back to TLC Movies. If you're new here, buckle up, because what you're about to listen to isn't scripted. It wasn't staged for the cameras. It was never meant to be heard. And yet, it was taped, word for word." "I think we both know," Cody muttered, still not looking up. "This dynamic between the two of us. It's toxic." Robyn's voice cracked. "What did you just say?" Not raising his head, he continued. "It's suffocating. The manipulation, the twisting of things. I can't breathe." The words struck Robyn. She recoiled backward. Not from shock, but from something deeper. Something primal. Pain. But that was not the worst of it. The worst was still to come. Unbeknownst to either of them, a backup audio system, tucked away inside a bookshelf opposite Robyn's vanity, was still running. Hours later, Robyn sat on the edge of her bed, phone in hand, venting to a producer she thought she could trust. Her voice cracked. "He actually called me. Ick? Like I'm repulsive?" She didn't stop there. "Meri walks around like some haunted Victorian widow. Janelle thinks she's some hardy pioneer woman, but she can't even get Cody to answer her calls." Robyn's tone became more slashing. "It's pathetic. Meri crawls for scraps like she even has a seat at the table. And Janelle? She pretends like she's self-sufficient, but she's blind." Her laughter was forced. "They should be thankful. I kept this family on the air. I kept Cody sane." What she didn't know was that someone was recording. A week later, a plain box showed up on a previous editor's doorstep. No sender, no message, just a flash drive with the label, "Clip 14, do not delete." Compelled by curiosity, or maybe instinct, he listened to the recordings. What he heard was never supposed to see the light of day. Within days, a leak on a private show crew forum, anonymous but soon going viral, was Reddit and Instagram wildfire. Cody's voice, Robyn's words, the whole conversation, raw and uncensored, went viral. And the backlash started immediately. Janelle sat at her kitchen counter in Flagstaff as her phone buzzed nonstop. Logan, Garrison, Gabe, they'd already heard. The audio was public now, captions and all. Her hand trembled as she hit play. When she heard Robyn mock her, martyr complex, she laughed. But it wasn't funny, not even close. Cody's voice cut through the noise. Robyn's replies followed. Janelle rocked back, stunned. For years, she believed Cody was hopelessly in love with Robyn, blinded by obsession. But now she knew the truth. "It was never love," she whispered. "It was about power." And once he lost control, she began to repel him too. Her phone lit up. It was Christine calling. "Did you hear it?" Janelle asked, her voice shaking. She did not need to elaborate. "Everything," she continued. "The manipulation, the gaslighting. I'm done pretending this didn't happen." And miles away, in Utah. Another heart cracked silently. In her B&B in Parowan, Meri sat at the window, looking out at the darkening landscape. She was alone, as always. Beside her on the table a printed transcript lay folded. Cold tea. When she read Robyn's words, naming her a tragic Victorian ghost, there was a burning ache that seared in her breast. It was nothing new. Cody had said worse in private. But somehow, from Robyn, so publicly, so viciously, it hurt in a way she could not define. Her eyes stayed fixed on that one sentence, and in the quiet, one question stood out from the rest. How did we ever allow it to go this far? Coming from Robyn, the woman Meri had thought of as a sister, as a friend even, was different. It was not just offensive, it was definitional. Something had crossed the line. Meri sat by herself with her laptop open and did something she had never done. She made a video, not for TLC, not for fans, but for herself. Her voice was low even. I'm not a ghost here, and I'm not in some desperate circumstance, but I won't be quiet anymore. You may have tried to erase me from this family, but I still have a voice. Back at TLC headquarters, chaos reigned supreme. In one executive conference room, legal teams were scrambling to determine who could be held responsible for the leaked tape. PR managers were busy drafting soft statements to try to placate the storm. But in private, some producers were saying the quiet part out loud. This wasn't merely a scandal. It was TV gold. Nobody wants a script anymore, a producer muttered. This is raw, real, and people want the blood, not the polish. And the storm was just starting. At Robyn's home, the fallout was impossible to ignore. Her eyes were puffy, her throat raw. She raged back and forth, shrieking. "They're trying to make me look like the villain," she yelled at Cody. He didn't move, his gaze on the floor. "Are you just going to say nothing?" she screamed at him. I don't know what to say," he whispered. "Robyn, those were your words. You insulted the woman who watched my children. You mocked them when you didn't think anyone would listen." "I was venting," she sobbed. "I was stressed out. You said you were the only one who mattered. You called them placeholders. You said they were jokes." Cody got slowly to his feet, shaking his head. "I phoned you that night because I felt something change. I saw, maybe for the first time, what they've all seen for years." Robyn's eyes welled up. "Are you leaving me?" "I'm not going anywhere," he said after a moment, "but I'm done defending you." And with that, he walked out of the room. For the first time, he didn't look back. Autumn had fallen on northern Arizona. Around the cul-de-sac, where memories still hung like ghosts in the air, the wind began to pick up. Robyn's home, once a symbol of sanctuary, now felt like ground zero for a storm. Furniture had been brought in, not for a TLC shoot, but for something more real, a sit-down, a reckoning, not arranged by producers, not for television. Janelle had arranged it, and she'd phoned Meri herself. "Don't address the lens," she'd said, "just be truthful." Noon. Robyn stood tense and white beside the kitchen island, arms tight across her chest. Her face was pinched, her eyes were red-rimmed. She jumped when there was a knock. She opened the door guardedly. Janelle led the way, her boots and forest green coat a stark contrast to the gloom of the room. Her face was calm, but her aura chill. Meri followed her, wrapped in a maroon shawl, her hair braided back. No hugs, no hello, just quiet. Robyn found it hard to talk. I didn't think you'd come." Janelle said coldly, "You have no cause to be surprised. We wanted to hear it from you." They moved across to the large wooden dining table, once the center of family dinners, now the field of a confrontation. Meri broke the silence, her voice strained and trembling. "I heard what you said about me. I read it, and I'm going to ask you straight out. Do you think I'm desperate?" Robyn turned away, blinking furiously. "Meri, I didn't mean—" "You referred to me as a ghost," Meri stated, louder now. "Say it, with the same certainty you had when you did not believe anyone could hear." Robyn stammered. It was feeling. It was not about you. Yeah, it was, Janelle cut in. Her voice was steel. You played victim on TV and were something else entirely behind the scenes. You cried on cue while you gutted us in the background. You stole the spotlight in Cody's life and then laughed at the rest of us. Robyn stood up, seizing the back of her chair. You think I haven't suffered? You think it's been easy being this family's scapegoat? Janelle's response was icy. You're not the scapegoat, Robyn. You're the architect. Robyn flinched as if she had been slapped. Janelle continued, You manipulated Cody. You isolated him. When you didn't get your way, you whined to producers. You said things you didn't think anyone would ever hear, but we did. And let's be real, they weren't just mean. They were calculated. Flashbacks loomed in the air like ghosts. They all could hear it in their heads. Robyn taunting Meri as pathetic, Janelle a pretend pioneer, and stating, clear as day, that she was the only wife who mattered. Robyn's lips quivered, but this time, nobody rushed to pamper her. I lashed out in frustration, Robyn said low, in anger, but I never meant to hurt you. Meri shook her head slowly, her voice cracked. But you did hurt me. You didn't just pretend to be my sister. You let me rot in silence while you smiled with me. Janelle's voice softened, yet her words cut deep. We gave up everything for this family. I took your children in as my own. Even after Cody's love faded, I stayed. I fought for what we built. And now, I know I did not lose him to you. I lost to the version of you he built in his mind. She defended it, even embraced it. While Christine craved love and Meri craved validation, Janelle valued freedom. She'd always insisted she appreciated the autonomy plural marriage gave her. Time to work, space to bear children. That's why what's unfolding now is so important. Janelle didn't leave in fury. She didn't walk out. She broke up when the foundation beneath her collapsed. She's rebuilding the fragments that mattered: laughter, trust, and friendship. She's maintaining the emotional safety of sisterhood without obligations of shared husbands or religious guilt. These new connections are freer, less burdensome, and even more real than those she had with her husband. For Janelle, this is likely the healthiest form of plural connection she's ever known: wanted, equal, and secure. Season 19 of Sister Wives came with record levels of tension and tragedy. One of the biggest shocks was the passing of Robyn Brown, one of Janelle's and Cody's sons, at his mid-20s. The senseless loss resonated throughout the season. The family reunited for a short while in Wyoming to lay Robyn to rest. It was the first time that the majority of them had ever been at one place since leaving their father figure. Meanwhile, Robyn and Cody, who were now the only surviving legal spouses, had to contend with their own reality. On the season's one-on-one specials, they coped with the future of their relationship and plural marriage on the table or not. Cody sat down with interviewer Suki Krishnan and attempted to retell the tale from his perspective. Tension was palpable. When questioned about whether he was now in a monogamous marriage with Robyn, he didn't refute it. People observed how defensive he got. His tone, his body, even glints of rage. Suki asked him further, would he ever go back to polygamy? Cody did not mince his words. He clarified it unequivocally that whatever type of polygamy he had practiced before, it was over. It didn't function. Not for him, not for his wives, and certainly not for the household. His comments were blunt, even savage. He confessed that the lifestyle had cost him more than it brought in. The emotional toll, the betrayed trust, and the relentless struggle of living 4 lives at once. It had exhausted him. He wasn't coming back. Christine left first in 2021. Meri and Janelle did too, soon after. In their own debriefs, they explained why. Christine disclosed the issues of intimacy, the emotional space, the years of feigning happiness. Janelle spoke bluntly. The moment Cody thought she was going to leave him, he didn't beg. He assaulted. He was violent. controlling. But now, each of these women is forging her own path. Christine, radiant with her new love, has embraced her blended family. Meri is cultivating independence with her solo brand. And Janelle, steady, quiet, and self-assured, is learning to laugh again, not as a wife, as herself. "I'm not interested in plural marriage anymore," Cody said plainly. "I don't want the headache. I'm not in that space." His words were direct and uncharacteristically final. After decades of preaching the benefits of polygamy, Cody Brown had reached a breaking point. Yet even in his disillusionment, he acknowledged one thing: the children. "If there's one thing I'm grateful for," he added, "it's that those marriages gave me my kids." Robyn also had something to add. Her tone was gentler, but the finality was the same. "I had always dreamed of growing old in a plural marriage," she confessed, "but what's come with Cody has changed everything." However, Robyn made one thing explicit. She was not walking away from him. She reconfirmed her loyalty, her comfort with the status quo. Even if the sister-wife dream had passed, her love for Cody had not. They're not the only ones to move on. Christine, now remarried blissfully to David Woolley, has stated it clearly. Monogamy was always her fantasy. She's thriving in a two-person relationship, teeming with laughter, with affection, and with the very sort of intimacy she once only fantasized about. And then there's Meri. Her journey had been more complex, less well-known, but no less transformative. After legally divorcing Cody in 2014 to enable him to marry Robyn and adopt her children, Meri and Cody were still spiritually married. That spiritual marriage lasted nearly a decade, until 2022, when Meri formally asked for a religious release. She was free at last after 32 years of marriage, and yet their relationship since the divorce has had moments of unexpected sweetness. During one episode in November 2024, Cody openly wept while helping Meri move to Utah. For Meri, the moment was confusing. After all those years of emotional distance and unresolved betrayal, including that now famous catfishing incident of 2015. Why now? But then again, maybe it's not about love. Maybe it's about respect. Respect between two individuals after everything they've endured. Their conversations today are not tender, but they're not combative either. Talking in a December 2024 interview, Meri called their interactions "fine when necessary," a label that describes a type of functional intimacy. They are not lovers anymore, but they are not strangers either. Meri, Cody's first of 4 wives, married Cody in 1990 when she was 19. Cody was 22. They were not just wedded, but also bonded in their religion, the Apostolic United Brethren Church. In 1995, they gave birth to Mariah, now Leon. But Meri's struggle with infertility strained it. And as Cody's family grew, to include Janelle in 1993, Christine in 1994, and Robyn in 2010, the emotional distance between them grew larger. Meri persevered, nevertheless. She gave up her legal marriage so Cody could adopt Robyn's children. She stood with him in public, even when things were falling apart in private. Now, that is in the past. The family, as viewers knew, it has changed forever. The wives have moved on, some with new love, others with newfound peace. And Cody, no longer the patriarch of a sprawling polygamous household, is facing the weight of everything he built and everything he lost. So what comes next? For Robyn and Cody, solitude in a once crowded house. For Christine, Meri, and Janelle, freedom, laughter, and a future they chose for themselves. No matter what your opinion of the Brown family saga is, one thing cannot be denied. It was never about marrying them. It was about identity, about sacrifice, and about the inner strength it takes to leave behind when the dream no longer fits.